Hello and welcome to CMS Forex News. I'm market analyst Nick Nassad. Today is Tuesday, February 17, 2009. UK consumer prices cooled to an annual rate of 3% in January, which was higher than forecast but is still the lowest level in the last 9 months. The fall in prices was led by lower fuel and housing costs. Prices for food and drinks were also down. In monthly terms, CPI was down 0.7%, which was a bigger drop than the 0.4% seen in December, which could signal an acceleration of price declines. The annual core reading, however, increased on the month to 1.3%, which means volatile items were a major contributor to the overall decline. The pound-dollar pair retested its support near 1.4120 and then rebounded, sticking to its range established yesterday. With a downward sloping line of resistance present from earlier this month, we may be approaching an important decision level. Of course, if traders remain undecided about a direction for the pair, we can see continued sideways trading. In Germany, investor confidence surprised forecasts on the upside, increasing from -31 last month to -5.8 in February. That was the biggest one-month jump in 15 years. It's a response to stepped-up efforts by the government to bolster the economy, and signals from the ECB that it will cut rates to a record low in March. Hopes are that the next few months will show weak economic activity, but that the economy will begin to recover in mid-2009. Stocks in Europe were hammered overnight, especially bank shares, as investors fretted over a report by Moody's Investor Services, which said it's concerned about Western European banks that are supporting subsidiaries in Eastern Europe against a deteriorating global macroeconomic backdrop. Lower stocks increased risk aversion, and so the euro fell about 170 pips from its global open against the yen. It found support from an upward sloping line of resistance that connects the lows from January 30th and February 12th. The euro-dollar pair broke below its support at 1.2720, sliding 220 pips from its open to probe the 1.2560 level. That's the lowest this pair has been since December 4th. Risk aversion and worries about Eastern European banks were the main factors pressuring the euro despite a better-than-expected data about its investor confidence. U.S. stocks fell heavily in morning trading following yesterday's holiday. In mid-afternoon trading, the Dow Jones Index was off 240 points as it fell to test the 7,600 level, while the S&P 500 dipped slightly below critical support at the 800 level. Investors piled their money into gold and treasuries in response to the risk aversion. Oil prices were off more than $2.50, falling below $35 a barrel. The dollar-yen pair had an interesting session. After hitting a new high at 92.75 during the Asian session, the pair retreated in the wake of the weak performance in European stocks. However, after testing support at yesterday's low, the pair rebounded despite the slide in U.S. markets. Increased risk aversion and falling oil prices pressured the loonie today. The US dollar-Canadian dollar pair surged 230 pips, reaching its highest level since January 24th. Recent resistance had been at the 1.2530 level. In fundamental news from the US, the New York Empire Manufacturing Index deteriorated significantly in February. The General Business Conditions Index fell to a new low of -34.7. New orders fell lower, employment levels remained mired in negative territory, while the Future Conditions Index also remained close to its recent low. The National Association of Home Builders Housing Market Index held in the single digits for a fourth consecutive month in February. The HMI rose a single point to 9, virtually unchanged from an all-time record low in the previous month. Builders are hoping that the newly passed economic stimulus bill, which includes some favorable elements for first-time homebuyers and small businesses, may have a positive impact on the market going forward. Tonight, Australia posts its leading index and a measure of quarterly retail sales. Overnight, the UK will release its Bank of England meeting minutes and the CBI industrial trends orders. Tomorrow, the US will post data on building permits and housing starts, its industrial production, and the FOMC meeting minutes. And that's it for today's edition of CMS Forex News. Thank you for joining us here at cmsfx.com, and we wish you happy trading.